Welcome back, artists. Another Christmas demonstration here. I'm going to do, as you can see, what I've got penciled out first. My little cabin here in the snow, and the smoke coming out of the chimney says Merry Christmas. And let's do this one in line and wash with our beloved Winsor Newton inks. Might use some India ink, which is black. We'll see. I don't know. I'm more inclined to try just some blue and yellow a little bit here. Keep it real nice and simple. When you're using inks, you can either use the inks first and then put on the watercolor, or do it the other way around. Put the watercolor on first and do the inks first. Lots of times you could do it either way and it really doesn't matter. In this case, because I want to capture the distance here in the mountains receding way back here, I think I'm going to do the watercolor first and then do my inking last. So with that in mind, and it's mostly just a blue and white painting. And again, there's an old landscaper's rule of lighten towards the horizon. I'm going to use that. The reason it is it works. Try to stay back, keep where I think in my mind I want the my horizon and the mountaintops to be. Paint right through my lettering, just as if it wasn't there. Just ignore it. Just thinking about the watercolors and again, atmospheric perspective, where things get bluer towards the horizon. Something like that. A bit, maybe a little dash raw sienna, sort of make it golden a little bit. There we go. And just using surface tension of the paper to keep the paint from going where I don't want it to go. I want it to look like a setting sun. Very cold and wintertime scene. So lose my edges here, then towards the top. And put in some blue here. And sort of let the colors do their thing as we're going along here. This is sky blue, this color right here that I'm using. Cheap Joe's color. It's really cerulean blue for all intents and purposes. All right, touch of cobalt here, run it into the yellow a little bit. And I don't want a hard line, I want a soft line between the yellow and the blue. Let those colors do their things. As the sun is setting, charge it a little bit more with some darker blue. Charging means adding color to color that is already there. So that's what I'm doing. I'm charging my blue with some more blue and letting it, and then leaving it alone and let it do its thing. All right, so now off in the distance we'll have our mountains here. Again, atmospheric perspective, they will fade away to blue into the distance. Coming down, being mindful of the contours of the land. Okay, and here's our just big broad swishes of paint. Help show the okay. And just like we had darker at the top, we'll do a little bit darker at the bottom, especially down here in the corner. I'm left-handed, and usually the lower right is my darker corner typically. And so we'll have a little here, dance around a little bit. And really, snow is water too, and water reflects whatever's above it, including whatever in the sky. So since I have yellow up there, I'll put a little yellow here and there. A little bit. A little yellow here and there. And then as I envision, thinking ahead a step or two, I'm going to have in my little cabin here light coming out. So there we go, a little bit of yellow for a splash there. And I got the closer mountain right back here. I'm using a small hake brush, the Ron Ranson hake brush. I cut the handle off so it fits in my watercolor backpack more easily than it would otherwise. But it's a wonderful brush. And Ron Ranson was an English artist. He's passed away now. He's been dead for a couple of years. But he helped a lot of us get started with just real good common sense, you know, simplicity, good techniques. And he had this brush. He designed this brush. Took an old ancient Oriental brush and actually found something that could use an improvement. Improved it. Basically what he did was the bristles used to splay out. But as you can see here, it comes to a nice, pretty nice fine point. Natural bristle brush holds a ton of water, so you can go a long ways with it. All right. Now for the finer work, I think I'll leave that for my little footpath here. Okay, I like that. That's looking all right. My white, suppose I could put a little bit more yellow, Don't want to get too crazy. I do enough other crazy things. Let's see here. All right, a little bit. Don't overwork it, Joe. Better to understate it than torture it to death. And okay. All right, that looks pretty uniform. Okay, I think we'll call that good with the watercolor. So I'll put the Donald away, and I feel okay, still a little bit wet, but that's fine because this is going to be smoke up here. So that means if it's a little bit wet already. So Winsor Newton ink. This is ultramarine blue. See, a beautiful, rich, very dark blue, very strong blue. This is a really nice color. Let me get my old bamboo. Again, I cut these down from my tomato plants. It used to hold up the tomato plants a couple years ago, and now I would like it, if it wants to, I can feel it cool to the touch of the back of my hand. This is the A. So I'm being left-handed, I'm going to go from right to left, so I minimize the risk of me dragging my hand through the work I just was working on. So there's the A, Christmas. Okay, well there's my Merry Christmas, and we can touch this with a brush a little bit in a moment. All right, so that's the blue. Let's try a little bit of yellow for the cabin. Here's sunshine yellow. Shake it up a little bit. Oh, come on, get off of there. These lids will sometimes, you get a little bit of paint around the top and in the threads, and then sometimes they kind of glue on. So I find I've got to take a wet paper towel, warm wet paper towel, and just wipe the threads off periodically so I can get the lid off the next time. That's about my only complaint about these things. Okay, so we'll make our log cabin here and frame in our door. So get our, in my mind, it's going to be hanging down with icicles. Now when you're working small like that, you don't want to worry about too much detail. just block into big shapes. It's got snow piled up on the outside. So there we go. All right. It's going to be a log cabin. Got horizontal logs laid at the top. Vertical planks, sawn planks on the top, on the ends of the building. Again, a few like here. All right, I like that. The old Z-shaped door, the bracing on the door. Okay, that's pretty good. I might draw it out a little bit here. Again, I want to. Part of the good design is right there where your center of interest is, you put most of your detail, your greatest contrast, greatest detail. Okay. So I want the viewer to see the cabin, and then with the connected smoke, see the lettering. You know what? I think I'm going to use blue red again and just do my chimney real quick. Okay, here's the blue again. I should have thought of this before and I didn't. Okay, so we've got our stove pipe coming out the top of the building. There we go. All right, so frame in a little bit. A few dark notes here. A few shadows. All right, do a few icicles hanging down. It's easier with this stick. So I'll just ink in a couple. Couple of what are supposed to be icicles hanging off the roof of the building here. Okay. There we go, a little bit of smoke coming around there like that. Okay. All right. Let's put that away. Put that away. Almost done here, but I think I'm going to try to smudge out the smoke a little bit more. Go to the 3/4 inch flat brush, and largely just because I want a little more control, I'm going to put my light off here at 10 o'clock, but it's carrying over here. Actually, it would be over lower here off about 9:30. And put in a little, this would make this the shadow side of my cabin. Okay, then my door's going to be a little. All right, I got an overhanging roof. The roof overhangs a little bit, so I got to. There we go, framing my door a little bit. Touch it once or twice like that. Okay. And now, the edge of the snow hanging down. Snow hanging down like that. There we go. Tie the end of my icicles. Okay. And now one little touch like that, just to shape the top of the cabin. All right, there we go. I like that. Don't overdo it. Okay, now we can try a little. I'll smudge this out a little bit intentionally so. Let's come around with our sienna. Dash it on here real quick. kind of messy like that, and just, I'm fine with it being messy like that because it's smoke dissipating into the sky. Now if we want, we could try some white gouache, see how that does, see if that helps it any. Makes it look a little more smoky like, which I think it does. Okay, now this will dry lighter. All right, it's peeling up in that upper right corner. That's due to, I think we'll call that good. I'm gonna lay down. It's warping like that due to uneven wetness. It's wet on this side and dry on the other side of the paper. Once it dries out, it should lay down, and I can just weight it down a little bit with light, with something a little bit heavy, and it'll flatten out. So I'm going to let that dry, and then I'll sign it. And I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you found this valuable. Another Christmas card idea, or just a nice Christmas painting if you wanted to make one. If you found it useful and beneficial, please give me a like and consider subscribing. And we'll do some more next time. And thank you so much. Merry Christmas, everybody. And we'll see you on the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.